we all strive for it as human beings. Whether we do it unconsciously or consciously, we're always striving for consistency. But what happens when this consistency isn't met? We experience something called a psychological discomfort or cognitive dissonance. For example, when you know you're supposed to study for a midterm, but you decide to skip it and watch the new episode of American Horror Story, you experience some kind of psychological discomfort such as guilt because you know you should be studying, yet you put it off to watch a TV show. And in the words of Leon Festinger, such inconsistencies cause these psychological discomforts called, and this theory is called cognitive dissonance. In the 50s, a psychologist named Leon Festinger created this theory of cognitive dissonance. This is him. He, experiencing this as much as I do, I decided to do more research and find out more about the topic and research ways to reduce the cognitive dissonance experience. And I have come here today to share that information with you. Learning about Leon and his theory will help us explore ways to reduce this cognitive dissonance. First, I will provide more background on this theory and the psychologists that created it. And then I will provide examples of ways to reduce this cognitive dissonance. So, the psychologist, developed this theory by doing an experiment in the 50s where he took subjects and made them do a series of boring tasks. He then separated them into two groups. He paid one group $20 to lie and say it was fun, and he paid the other group $1 to lie and say it was fun. The $20 group retained their belief that it was boring in the end when they were asked again, and the dollar group changed their opinion on it and said that it was actually enjoyable. Thus, he found that when you have a reasonable excuse, such as the $20, you don't have the need to experience the cognitive dissonance or the guilt because you just retain your original belief. And the dollar group changed their belief because they felt guilty and they didn't have enough reason to retain their belief. In the words of Joel Cooper, the greater the inconsistency we face, the more agitated we will be and more motivated we will be to reduce it. Back to the example of watching TV instead of doing your work. One way to reduce this cognitive dissonance is to change your action, which would be to not do your homework and procrastinate. And if you have enough reason to, you won't feel the cognitive dissonance. For example, with the $20 group, they had the $20, so they didn't feel the need to change their belief, so they just retained their original belief. Another way is to change your behavior, or to change your belief, sorry. So with the dollar group in the beginning, they believed that it was a boring task. So in order to reduce the guilt they felt for lying, they changed their belief and in the end, really did believe that the task was fun. And to conclude, we have learned about the psychologist named Leon Fistinger and what his theory has taught us on cognitive dissonance and how to reduce cognitive dissonance. Maybe next time you are faced with conflicting feelings on whether you should do your homework or watch TV, you will remember his theory and decide the best way to reduce your cognitive dissonance.